Okay, so welcome everyone to Founders Week YQG. My name is Tashlyn Teskey. I'm the Manager of Projects and Research with Workforce WindsorEssex, and I'm excited to be facilitating the session this morning. This event is all about bringing together entrepreneurs, startups, innovators, changemakers, entrepreneurial support organizations, local leaders, and community. Our goal is to celebrate, educate, connect, and build momentum and opportunity around our region's startup community. So while this event is virtual, we would like to respectfully acknowledge that the land on which we gather today is the traditional territory of the Three Fires Confederacy of First Nations, comprised of the Ojibwe, the Odawa, and the Potawatomi peoples. We are grateful to work, learn, and live in this area. This week would not have been made possible without our generous sponsors. I would like to thank the Province of Ontario, the St. Clair College Alumni Association, the Job Shop, Libro Credit Union, Workforce WindsorEssex, Baker Tilly Windsor LLP, Alpha Core Group, Venture, EPICentre, Small Business and Entrepreneurship Center, Genesis Entrepreneurship Center, and WEtech Alliance. Thank you for putting #Founders first. For more information about our sponsors, please check out wetechalliance.com/foundersweek. Today's session is hosted by Workforce WindsorEssex. Workforce WindsorEssex is a workforce and community development board whose mission is to lead regional employment and community planning for the development of a strong and sustainable workforce. To learn more about what we do and how we can help you, please register for the Leveraging the WindsorEssex Entrepreneurship Support Ecosystem workshop for tomorrow, Wednesday at 3 p.m. So now to just a few housekeeping items. To be considerate and accommodate everyone attending today, we are doing things a bit differently by leveraging Zoom webinar. You might not be able to see all the attendees, but you will have ample opportunity to engage with other guests during the Q&A session. Please feel free to use the chat feature located at the bottom of the video window to engage with session attendees. And as I mentioned before, you may submit questions at any time throughout the session using the Q&A box located in the bottom of the display window. You can also upvote the questions you want answered. Should you experience any technical difficulties, please send a message in the chat box. As I mentioned again, this session will be recorded. A video file, audio file, and relevant links will be available on WEtech Alliance's YouTube channel and included in the attendee follow-up email. We're also streaming the session live on WEtech Alliance's Facebook page. And finally, let's make sure everyone knows Founders Week YQG is where it's at. Be sure to share your #Founders Week YQG experience on Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. So with all of that covered, so now I would like to welcome our speakers today, Bearcat, Maria Milano, and Taylor Lenoy on stage. Taylor Lenoy is a proud graduate of St. Clair College in the University of Windsor, where her first introduction to social media was working on air and creating content for a few local radio stations. Realizing her passion for digital marketing, she followed her heart and began pursuing opportunities in marketing that led her to land a job in the automotive sector that followed her to travel and teach about the power of social media across the US and Europe. Pairing her passion for helping others and her social media knowledge, she then built a business, Taylor Lenoy Creative Corporation. Over the last 3 years, she has collaborated with businesses in Canada, the US, and Europe in over 25 different industries to enhance their brand and grow their online presence. Her goal is to amplify the voices of those who are trying to make a difference in their communities and across the world. Maria Milano is a serial entrepreneur and content creator with thriving businesses in the wedding, e-commerce, and digital marketing spaces. Her wedding businesses won the Knot Magazine's Best of Wedding Awards in 2019. For her 5-figure e-commerce launches, she attributes a lot of her success to social media, particularly TikTok, where she's amassed over 50,000 likes across her 2 channels in under 6 months. With her digital marketing agency, she aims to help brands attract their dream clients for their dream businesses by leveraging short-form video content and TikTok ads. And lastly, Bearcat is a graduate of BA Communication, Media, and Film Studies at the University of Windsor. She also holds a college, a college diploma from St. Clair College in Converged Journalism and was part of the first graduating class out of the Downtown Mediaplex. Throughout her studies and in her professional career, Leanne has gained experience in advertising, print journalism, broadcast journalism, event planning, and public relations. Leanne is a content creator with marketing strategies that have reached over 1.5 million viewers, including national and international brands that she has had the opportunity to collaborate with. Okay, so that's enough speaking for me. So now I'm happy to pass it over to Taylor to present to us first.
Sorry, did the slide change for everyone or no? Oh, there we go. Okay. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us in our session. I'm going to kick things off with two platforms that I know we're all very familiar with, Facebook and Instagram. And if you've sat in on any of my sessions before, you know that I'm very focused on creating great content as opposed to fighting with the algorithm, and today is no different. So before we start, you know, we're all on social with a goal. We want to promote our business, but in order to be successful, we have to know what the goal of social media is. And so no matter what platform you're on, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, their goal is always to keep their audience on the platform for as long as possible. So when you're creating content, you need to keep that in mind. It's not just about posting things that like you think you need to share with your audience. It's about posting in a way that's going to make them stop scrolling. So how do we do this? Well, I've listed the types of currency that is engagement from least valuable to most valuable. So likes are going to be the least valuable type of engagement that you can get. It doesn't require a lot of energy from your audience. Comments mean that your audience has actually read your content. You know, they've looked at your photo, they want to engage and create a meaningful engagement in the comments. Shares are the most social engagement that you can have. So that's shares, you know, to your timeline, shares to your story, but also shares in a DM or in a Facebook message, which people don't really think about, but I do it all the time, and it counts towards tokens for the algorithm. And then finally, saves. Saves means that you've created content that's so valuable that your audience wants to, you know, save it to their library to reference it later. Maybe it's a recipe, maybe it's a workout, but basically if you're getting saves, you could say that things are getting pretty serious with your audience. Okay, so we just talked about we're creating content with the goal of keeping people on the platform for as long as possible. We know what kind of engagements we're looking for to tell the algorithm, people really like this stuff. But we also need to remember that we are not making content for ourselves, we're making content for our audience, right? And one sure way to fail on social media is to be boring, right? And that might mean that you have to do the one big scary thing that you're afraid to do, and that's probably show your face. But content with your face is going to perform so much better because as much as people believe in your business, they're going to believe in you and your face a lot more, and it's going to get a lot more comments, a lot more shares, and a lot more saves. The other thing I want you to do when you're creating content is to think about the types of content that you like to consume and make that. So a great example is if you're on Facebook or on Instagram and you're constantly scrolling through reels, but you're choosing not to make them for your brand, that's a big disconnect for me. And you should be trying to create the things that you like to consume. And then finally, I notice this a lot with clients or people that I'm just starting to work with. They're like, oh, I haven't posted in a couple of days, you know, let me quickly find an inspirational quote, a did you know, or a random stat, and I'm just going to throw it up there and that will be enough. But that's not enough because the algorithm is keeping track of, you know, how well are your posts performing, and that makes it easier for your new post to perform if you're doing things well. But if you're posting things that aren't performing well, it makes it more difficult for your next post to go even further, right? So we're always creating content with the goal of making sure that we're making people stop scrolling. Because if you're just grabbing the quickest thing you can find on the internet, like an inspirational quote, your audience is going to act a lot like SpongeBob and say, I am a head out. So what action do we want people to take from our content? So the obvious answer is like, Taylor, I want them to make a purchase. I know that. But when people are coming to our social media, right, for some, it's their first introduction to our brand. So they're not quite ready to make a purchase. So we can have a lot of other goals with our content. So one of them can be like, oh, I want them to save my content. That's a goal. I want to create content that's so valuable that they want to put me in their library. Another goal could be like, oh, I want this to be so valuable for them that they want to share it to their timeline, because then you're getting access to an audience that you don't own. Suddenly you're being shared to their friends. And if they share it, then you're getting shared to their friends. And that's where your reach is going to come in, right? If you're trying to grow your brand. So when we're thinking about content, I want your goal to be bigger than I just want to make a purchase, because some people aren't at that point in their customer journey. So I'm telling you all of this about content, and I'm sure you're standing there like this girl at the beach thinking, oh my gosh, what is she saying? But I've got some tips and tricks to make content planning a little bit easier for Facebook, Instagram, and all the other platforms. So the first thing that you're going to do is make a document filled with content ideas and break them up into pillars. So I'm not going to explain pillars, but Leanne will, so I'll leave that to her. And then I want you to plan a day to make reels. I'm also going to cover how to make reels. You don't have to panic if you're like, I've never even watched one. And then I want you, this is important, write this down if you're going to write nothing else down in this session. Please dedicate at least 20 minutes a day to engagement. I don't care if it's 10 minutes in the morning or 10 minutes at night or 5, but if you're like, my goal is to have 1,000 followers by the end of the year, this is where you're going to get them. And now I don't want you to worry about posting every day. I want you to post as many times as you can share relevant content. So maybe that's 3 or 4 times a week. That's fine. But I want whatever you post to have a goal of either being saved, shared, or, creating some sort of engagement in the comments. I want you to share stories every day or as often as possible, stories to Facebook and on Instagram. So let me explain the rationale. So if you're not posting every day, and even if you do, the way the algorithm works, sometimes your post will appear 2 days later on someone's timeline, and that's fine. But with stories, you're always guaranteed to live at the top of everyone's social media platform. So if they're engaging with your stories, it's more likely that your post will appear on their timeline the next time that you do post, because the algorithm has seen that they've shown an interest in your platform. And then finally, I want you to link your Facebook and your Instagram together so you can work smarter, not harder. But what I want you to avoid is posting your entire list of Instagram hashtags to your Facebook. So post to both without hashtags, and then head over to your Instagram and add your hashtags to your caption. So if you take nothing away from today's post, I would rather see you engage every day than post every day. And when you think about it like that, it makes social media a lot more digestible. Okay, so where do I find content ideas? I'm going to power through these. If you're like, I need a better explanation, Taylor, I want you to scan that QR code in the corner and we can talk in my Instagram DMs. But first of all, I want you to think of your brand as 3-dimensional. So you're not just selling a product or service, you're selling, solutions to a problem, you're selling a lifestyle. So let's think about it more holistically, as opposed to I've got this thing and I'm trying to get you to buy it. I want you to save content on Instagram or on Pinterest as inspiration for later. I said inspiration, not copy and paste, just so we're clear. I want you to pay attention to what people are asking you about your business, because either you're going to solve a problem for old customers and new customers, and you might generate some comments as well as like, wow, I was really wondering about that. Thank you for telling us. I want you to watch Reels and TikToks, survey your audience. Use reviews as inspiration. So I'm kind of against graphics and I really don't love stock photos. So when I'm saying use reviews as inspiration, I don't want you to head to Google, copy your Google review and then put it on a graphic and post it up. No. If I'm a bed and breakfast, for instance, and someone's like, wow, we had a really great stay at your B&B. We loved all the amenities, especially the robes. We think they're the best in the city. Well, then I'm going to take that review and post a photo of maybe my robes in the room, right? And I'm going to say, staying with us, we really focus on all the little details. Some even say that our robes are the best in the city. You'll have to try them out for yourself. So I've taken something that we didn't realize was special to our brand and then turned it into a piece of content, right? And then I want you to look at what people are talking about on Twitter, what's trending. You can do this on any platform. What are people talking about on Facebook or on Instagram? And then finally, I want you to join groups and follow other pages that post content that is relevant to your brand. So if I'm asking you to post 3 or 4 times a week, a share definitely counts. So that takes one thing off your plate. Okay. The one thing that we need to know is that social media today isn't what it used to be before, because Instagram has said we are no longer a photo sharing app. So what that means is that you have to make reels if you really want to be successful. So how do you do it? I've got 4 tips here. Number 1, you're going to watch reels for inspiration and then direct message the reels that you like to yourself. So I learned this the hard way, but basically when you're sitting there for an hour scrolling through reels, you're going to come up with some really good ideas. So you'll save the sound, but then later when you go to make the reel, you don't remember, what your inspiration was. So direct message the reel to yourself so you always remember what the idea was. And then save songs you like or want to use in the future. And then I want you to continue to make reels even if you feel silly, because nobody feels comfortable in front of the camera. So you just have to do it until you do, and then rinse and repeat that strategy. And if you've ever made reels before, you can definitely relate to my boy Will Farrell on the left, who is waiting for his reel to upload, praying that it doesn't delete itself. But I've got a solution if this has ever happened to you in the next slide. Okay, so here's some real good reel hacks. Here's what I do. So number one, trending songs have a little arrow next to them. So on the right, you can see I've circled the little arrow that you're looking for. Now, legend has it that these songs make your reel like really blow up. And to some degree, I think that's true. But again, we're creating content for humans, not for robots, right? So I want you to pick the sounds and the songs that you can create really great content to, because you can pick a trending song but make crappy content and it's not going to blow up the way that you want it to. If Instagram removes your ability to upload reels, this happens to me when I spend like a whole day making reels and editing, eventually it will just shut off and my reel function will be gone. So if it happens to you, I want you to turn your phone off and then turn it back on. And so you don't end up like Will Farrell. I want you to save your reel to your phone after you're done editing it, so it's exactly as it should appear. So if Instagram kicks you off, or worse, if you sign out of Instagram, it will also delete all of your drafts. At least they're all saved to your phone. And then cover photos. You can add your own custom cover photo to reels. You can either do it before you upload, or you can also do it after, which a lot of people don't know. I personally like to make all my cover photos on Canva. Canva Pro, sign up for it. You won't regret it for your business. This one is a big one too. So if you're trying to make reels, but you don't get access to any of the good songs by like real artists, I want you to change your Instagram category. So head to your bio, change your Instagram category and put entrepreneur, and you'll get access to all of the good songs. If you don't know how to do that, again, scan the QR code and send me a DM and I'll tell you. And then finally, I put hashtags in my reel captions. I don't really know if it makes a difference, but I don't think it could hurt. Okay, so let's get real about reels. So I've taken some of my accounts that I work with that don't have don't have that many followers. Some of them have over 1,000. And I've taken some of their top performing reels to show that even if you don't have a lot of followers, this is still where you need to be investing your time. So if we go to image number 2, you can see it has 224 followers at the top, and it has reached reels are evergreen content. So what that means is that it continues to get more views well after it's been posted. So when I took this screenshot, it was at 2,778 and now it's over 3,000. So it's going to continue to grow. The best performing one is the red reel. It has 739 followers, and you can see it has over 10,600 views. I didn't use a trending song for this one, so that's why I don't want you to be married to the arrow. I just want you to be aware of what it means. And then if you need a sign to keep posting, I found this girl. I thought she was really relevant to maybe a lot of people who are sitting in our session today. She has 351 followers, so not that many, but she's been consistently posting reels. So in this screenshot, she's not doing so great, getting between 100 and 200 views, but you can see that one went viral. So this is a friendly reminder to just keep posting, because it only takes one to hit. And you're going to feel silly doing it, and it might be a little bit discouraging if you're not getting a lot of views, but just keep posting consistently and be really brave about it. So now I'm going to pass it over to my friend Mara, who's going to talk to us about TikTok and a little bit more about Reels.
Thank you, Taylor, and thank you everyone for being here. My name is Mara Milano, and today we will be touching on my TikTok story, Reels versus TikTok, 5 steps for content creation, and a bonus, the video that helped me make 5 figures in e-commerce. So, my TikTok story. The first time I heard of TikTok was through my daughter, who lives in the Philippines. This was back in 2019. She was 7 at the time. It was a lip sync video, so safe to say I did not take the platform seriously, but I wish I did. Fast forward 2019, I attended a tech conference in Toronto called Collision and was told that TikTok is the next big thing. So I started posting casually, but not taking it seriously still. I still wish I did though at the time. So now in 2021, I started a TikTok account for my second e-commerce shop. And in a few weeks, I got 25,000 likes, 1,500 new followers, And for Valentine's, I made over 5 figures in sales. This shows you that the platform is new but powerful. And this is why I absolutely adore TikTok and am launching a TikTok management startup at the end of the month to help brands like you and me leverage the platform for our businesses. Instagram Reels versus TikTok, which is better? Some people say TikTok because it's the OG. Others say it's Instagram Reels because Meta is pushing hard to get attention on this new feature, right? But an experiment by Hootsuite with a new account on Reels on TikTok, posting the exact same content, showed that new account on Reels only got a measly 2 views, while the new account on TikTok got over 400 views. Food for thought for new accounts. What are their similarities? Both platforms use short form video as their content. They thrive on trending sounds. They have similar viral videos. You can make use of filters and add captions to your videos. You can run ads for both. And right now, they have a high potential of virality. So get on it. Differences: video duration, TikTok up to 3 minutes, Instagram Reels 60 seconds. Sounds not licensed for commercial use is something you see on TikTok a lot. So if you want to use certain sounds, you might have to go on Instagram Reels to use them. TikTok, you can heart videos and Reels you can save. More on this and why this is important later. And monetization, TikTok Creator Fund is not available in Canada just yet, but on Instagram, you can earn bonuses on videos you post. The demographics will be on the next slide. As you can see here, 62% of TikTok US users are under the age of 30. It shows you that Gen Z still dominates the platform, and it's good to know so you can position your brand strategically. I will now guide you through the 5 steps I follow to create content for TikTok. Step 1, pre-production. This is the most important step because you have to browse the For You page for ideas. You should allocate up to an hour a day engaging with the platform and your target customers. This is super important. Save your ideas by hearting the videos because it saves on your profile, so you can refer back to them later on. Save filters. Add music to your favorites. This makes it easy for these items to be referred back to or to be used later on. Next, know your analytics. If you're new, it's best to Google the best times to post on TikTok, and usually you'll find it's in the mornings. If you have data, follow the data on what time your followers are online. Make sure you have access to creator tools or business suite for analytics. Follow trends, but add your own unique twist. TikTok has a very strong trend culture. How do you find trends? If you hear a sound used more than once while scrolling, check the sound. If the top 10 to 20 videos are 5 days to 1 week old, have thousands of likes, and if there are about 10,000 videos for the sound, it's a winner. You got to get on that trend. And these are the 3 main types of video tones that you should focus on creating: entertaining, educational, or empowering, because they have the best chance for virality. Finally, for me, really important step, I schedule to batch shoot my content so that I'm not shooting every day. This makes it efficient. For me, for example, every Friday is when I shoot all my content, and I edit them at the same day as well. Step 2, production. When you're filming, start with the hook. Have text on the opening video frame. Or if you prefer, use your voice and say something kinda clickbaity, because you have to capture the attention of your audience within the first 1 to 2 seconds. This leads to focus on maximizing watch time. Example, start with a question and then leave the answer to the end of the video so people can watch it through. And if you're a newbie, keep your videos as short as possible, ideally 7 to 15 seconds. Be authentic and aesthetic. Use your brand's colors and integrate your brand's voice and vision into every video you put out. Use trending filters. Stitch or duet with trending videos. And a pro tip, show your face. I know it's uncomfortable, but it conveys trust. And also the palm of your hand. Finally, end with a call to action. This is an example. Follow my TikTok for more tips. Leave your questions in the comments, and thanks for watching. Step 3, post-production. Once you're done filming, remember these things for editing and posting. When you edit your videos, start again with a hook. Add text to the opening sequence. Things like 5 tips for insert your niche topic. Can you guess this niche topic? Something engaging that will encourage your viewers to stick to the end. Use hashtags wisely. Avoid hashtag FYP, hashtag small business. They're oversaturated. Nowadays, most hashtags are in the billions of views, so try to find relevant hashtags that are under 100,000 views. Again, end with a call to action. And the bonus, use a cover video technique. When you select the cover for your video, add a title so that people who browse your profile in the future will be encouraged to watch based on the title. Step 4, distribution. Always, always, always reply to all comments. And then remember to repost and repurpose your content. Repost to Pinterest, especially idea pins. They are really on fire right now. Instagram Reels, of course, but strategically. Facebook and YouTube Shorts as well. This leads to step number 5, growing your TikTok. Again, engage with the platform and its users. If you cannot post every day, at the very least, engage with the platform. Welcome your new followers. Watch your analytics. Always plan to post content at the time your followers are most likely to find you. Post consistently. Whether it's once a week, once every 3 days, just be consistent. If you have a website, remember to link it in your bio. Have a strategic funnel in place for driving your TikTok traffic. Connect your YouTube or Instagram or both. I find that loyal dream clients tend to filter through and will follow you everywhere. Finally, if you were to remember one thing at all from my presentation today, is social media mental health. Be grateful for every view, every like, and every follow, especially when you're just starting out. That's it. As I mentioned earlier, I will now show you the video that helped me make 5 figures this past Valentine's.
Supporting a small business costs $0 and 0 cents. If you see this video come across your For You page, please watch it all the way through, like, comment, copy link, and follow us. Support really means the world to us, and we would love to continue to show our content to you. Supporting a small business costs $0.
Thank you again, everyone, for being here. Do connect with me by following me on social media or visiting my website. Once again, my name is Maria Milano, and it has been a pleasure to share my TikTok knowledge with you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Leanne, and I'm going up next. So Toshlin did do a little intro for me, but I'm going to do another one. So hey, everyone, I'm Leanne, and I'm so excited to be here today to talk to you about YouTube content and branding. Before we get started, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I am a graduate of the Converge Journalism program at St. Clair College, the first graduating class of the Downtown Mediaplex, I might add, and a graduate of the Communications, Media, and Film Studies program at the University of Windsor. Using my technical skills, I began creating content on YouTube a few years ago, and it quickly turned into a part-time job where I can generate a passive income while working with national and international brands. Although my subscriber count is at a modest 9.2 thousand, my videos have reached an audience of almost 2 million viewers worldwide. I've had the opportunity to build a network of like-minded individuals who help me put my best foot forward when creating engaging and unique content. Today, I'll be talking to you about finding your niche, how to stay consistent, and my 4-pillar method for content creation. So let's dive in. So we're going to start out with finding your niche. Knowing where to start on YouTube can be incredibly intimidating, especially when the market seems so incredibly saturated. How do you stand out from the crowd? How do you find your specific audience? And I'm not going to lie to you, the early stages of YouTube can feel incredibly discouraging. I always say that finding your niche is like throwing a bunch of things at a wall and just finding what sticks. So here's my recommendation for finding what works for you. Sit down and write like 25 video content ideas within your industry or field. Search YouTube to see if those topics you've chosen have already been covered. If they have, no problem. Check out the conversation that's happening in the comment section. Are there questions that haven't been answered? If so, can you effectively create content to address the questions or concerns? Doing this allows you to really understand the mindset of your potential audience and what they really want to see. What unique value can you add with your video? This is a great way of tuning into your audience's needs. But how are they supposed to find you once you've created the content? One of the biggest tricks to hacking into your audience's mindset is the Google Keyword Planner, an absolute dream for any content creator. This completely free tool can be found through Google Ads, and all you need to do is have a Google account, which you likely already have if you're on YouTube. Through this feature, you can use the Discover New Keywords tool to find out what your audience is searching. Next slide. Say you're creating a YouTube channel to promote your new bakery and you want to create a video showing people your famous chocolate chip cookie recipe. Start with a broad search using the video topic. Here, I've searched chocolate chip cookies, and Google gave me a breakdown of the average monthly searches for any keywords associated with this topic, along with the online competition with each term. Using this tool, you can refine your audience. You want to find a topic with a high search volume and low competition. In this example, I'll use double chocolate chip cookies for my video topic, but make sure your video topic still matches your content. So I'll just make sure to double up on my chocolate chips. Next slide. So once I've created my delicious double chocolate chip cookie video and I'm ready to upload to YouTube, I'll run the search again using my chosen keyword, but this time I'll use all the high search results to create my video tags. Not only do I know that people are searching these topics, but I now also know that I'll have a better SEO result. This will not only help your target audience find you easier, but will allow you to show up at the top of search results. Here is an example. A few years ago, I created a video about making DIY aromatherapy shower steamers. Now, if you were to search those exact words on YouTube, my video will be the first to pop up. Even though the video below me has 12,000 more views, my tags have allowed me to show up before it. Plus, it kind of helps that my thumbnail is a little bit more engaging, not to show off or anything. Next slide. We're going to talk about consistency next. If I'm speaking too loud, quickly, let me know in the chat. Consistency is key. Consistency won't mean instant success, but you can't be successful without it. So here is my 4-step plan to stay consistent. Step 1, decide how many videos you can commit to each week realistically. It's easy to burn out when you're creating tons of videos a week. So here are a few things to consider. When creating a video, you have to write a script, set up your shot list or your storyboard, record the video, edit, create marketing materials. That can easily take you anywhere from 5 to 8 hours, depending on the length of your video. If you're starting a business, you know that committing an additional 5 to 8 hours through your week can take away from other aspects of your life. So if you can only commit to 1 video a week for now, that's okay. It's all about quality, not quantity. Step 2, pick a specific day and time to upload and stick to it. This helps keep yourself accountable. Your audience is expecting you to show up at a certain time on a certain day, and you don't want to let them down. What if your favorite TV show just decided that they didn't want to air an episode for a week or so, or their schedule was all over the place? I mean, with Netflix, that's not really a problem anymore, but you get where I'm going with this. If you're not showing up, your audience will lose interest. Step 3, at the end of each month, do the following. Count how many videos you'll need to create for the following month, then create a list of content ideas. Pull the most relevant ideas and assign them to each scheduled video with a title and thumbnail concept. Just jot down a rough concept and fine tune it once you get to it. That way you already have an idea in your mind of the theme and the concept before going into it, so you can start brainstorming more ideas. Step 4, once you have your content calendar planned, you need to plan your month and carve out time for filming, writing scripts, editing, and creating marketing materials for your videos. Once it's in your calendar, you're much more likely to follow through with your content creation. After your video has been uploaded, give yourself time to engage with your audience. Respond to comments and spark conversation in the comment section. Next slide. The idea of staying consistent can seem overwhelming, especially when you don't feel like you have any content ideas. Here's a trick that I use that can be spread across any platform, but today I'll focus mostly on YouTube. It's called the pillar method. Say you decide that you're comfortable committing to 4 videos a month, so 1 a week. Choose 4 areas or topics within your industry or niche that you want to share regularly and rotate through them on your channel. This method helps build your brand identity with pillars that people begin to recognize you for, and also helps you come up with fresh content ideas. So pick 4 categories that resonate or connect with your brand that you can cycle through. Using my bakery example with my chocolate chips or my chocolate chip cookies, my pillars can be sharing a recipe, common baking mistakes, entrepreneurial tips for starting your own bakery, and an advertisement for your bakery. Don't be afraid to make one of your pillars yourself, as long as you're actually providing value with the rest of your content. Like I mentioned, this method can be used across all platforms, and it doesn't have to be 4 pillars. Are you looking for a challenge? Make 7 pillars for every day of the week for your Instagram page and schedule them using apps like Hootsuite that allow you to set it and forget it. The idea is to keep circulating fresh content within your brand identity. People will begin to recognize and know you for your pillars. If you don't know where to get started on this, try this branding exercise. Sit down and write a list of keywords you want your brand to be associated with. Then ask your closest friends and family to tell you what words they associate with your brand. If your answers don't match your vision, then you're missing the mark somewhere in your branding. Choose keywords that you want your brand to be recognized for the most and use those as your pillars. Have fun with this. Curate photos, reels, and stories that closely align with each of your pillars. Follow brands with similar brand identities. What are they doing that you're not? What are you doing that they're not? Choose topics you feel passionately about and truly, truly love. I cannot emphasize enough that the camera is the best bullshit detector. If you're genuinely not comfortable with the topic, reading off a script and coming off as inauthentic, people will not stay to watch. If you're comfortable in front of the camera, or if you're uncomfortable in front of the camera, try imagining that you're talking to a friend or someone you really trust. Allow it to be casual and conversational so your viewers feel the authenticity. It's all about building that know, like, and trust factor. Also, no one knocks it out of the park the first time. Watch anyone's YouTube video. It's always a little awkward and a little shaky, but with time and practice, you will get comfortable. Also, keep in mind your 4 pillars can change and evolve with your business or your niche, but showing up consistently within your main categories helps build that brand identity. So whether you're just starting out on YouTube or you're thinking about it as a next step, I really hope that these tips and tricks helped you out on your journey. Remember, with time, patience, and practice, you can achieve any goal you set out for. If you have any additional questions, please feel free to reach out to me today or reach out to me after this. If you have any questions for the other amazing presenters today, please feel free to reach out to them. Thank you so much for watching our presentation. And now I think we'll open the floor up for questions.
Thank you so much, Leanne, and all of you for sharing that amazing content. Like Leanne just graciously mentioned for me, we're now opening the Q&A, so feel free to flood us with any questions that you guys want answered. We still have quite a bit of time, so we can get through many questions this morning. So I do want to start us off, if I can pitch my own question to each of you. I know Taylor hinted at it in her presentation, but what is, from your full presentation, what is that one piece of advice you want as that major takeaway? I'll start off with Leanne.
I would say the major takeaway is consistency, not only so that you're showing up for your audience all the time, but also practice makes perfect. So once you're staying consistent and holding yourself accountable, your content will kind of gradually grow and evolve with you, and you'll just get better at it. So consistency is key, in my opinion.
Perfect. Maria, do you want to go next? Oh, I'm just gonna unmute.
All the time. I did mention it in my presentation that if you take away one thing is that you should still watch out for your mental health when you're making or when you're running a social media account. And you should try to be grateful for every like, every follower, every comment, because that's your community. So even if you're getting 1 or 2 hits only, still be grateful for that. And if you have new followers, welcome them. And honestly, that's helped me grow my account. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, and Taylor's back. So we'll throw to her for her last piece of advice.
Sorry, the mailman came. He wouldn't stop knocking. Okay, so my biggest piece of advice is to be brave and share the pieces of content that you're most scared to share, because that's probably what your audience wants to see, and to really focus on engagement.
Great. So just a reminder, if you throw your comments into the Q&A box instead of the chat, then we can kind of organize them a little bit, but I will just grab the one question from the chat. So being that you do this day in and day out, where do you see content gaps that are not being produced and distributed? So I'll start with Leanne again.
Start with somebody else.
That's a hard one. Can we get like a follow-up to that? Unless Mara, you know?
Frankly, I don't know how to answer that question. If you can be more specific with your question, I think that will be helpful.
Okay, so I believe that came from Jonathan. If you want to just expand on your question in the Q&A, then we can jump back to it. Okay, so next question. Could you please speak a bit about advertising on each platform? I'm not sure who wants to take that one.
I'll go first.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Okay. So I started with TikTok ads this year, and I found that the campaigns on TikTok is actually a lot cheaper than Facebook and Instagram and even Pinterest right now. So it's a good time to get on TikTok ads, but again, depends on your industry, I suppose. E-commerce really thrives in TikTok. If you're service-based right now, you can't target just Windsor, for example. So that will be down the road in terms of TikTok ads. But I'll let Taylor talk about Instagram ads, but you can also run Instagram ads for Reels. So yeah, Taylor, if I can hand that off to you.
Sure. Okay. So I guess when you're just starting out, a good way to think about ads on social media, specifically Facebook and Instagram. So Facebook ads I use as butts in seats or like to make a purchase is kind of a good way to think about it. If I'm asking someone to like, buy tickets to an event, I'm going to run that as a Facebook ad. So then the link automatically becomes there. But if I spend a lot of time on a piece of content and it's not performing that well, that's where I'll use the boost. And as far as money goes, like Facebook recommends that you run ads for a minimum of 4 days for $10. So if I'm just starting out with a brand and they're maybe not comfortable with running ads, that's kind of where we start. But obviously the more money you spend and the more days you run an ad, the better results you're going to get. But the minimum is going to be $10.
Oh, I wanted to add the minimum on TikTok is $20 right now. But I always recommend a budget of around $100 per day, but that's when you're scaling too.
And if I'm just going to touch on advertising on YouTube, it's a little different than all of that because you do have to reach a threshold on YouTube in order to be able to monetize your videos. And then from there, it's like working with brands and stuff and the transparency of having to kind of show that you're an affiliate. So it's a lot more different. You're not really putting money towards showing your ads. You can through Google Ads, but it's once you reach that threshold, it's more about building that know, like, and trust factor with your brands.
Great. I do just want to point out there was a question regarding what platform you like to use to schedule your posts. Taylor gave a great answer for that. If you look into the Q&A as well, you'll see that. So for the next question, does it make sense to use all available social media platforms? How do we choose which to use? I feel like you guys all have different preferences you're going to suggest, though.
I'll start, I think. Like I said in the presentation, TikTok is still very much is a Gen Z platform. So if your product, you're looking to future-wise and attract Gen Z down the road, it's good to get on TikTok right now because they use TikTok, right? So you will find them there and they will find you there. I'll let the other lady talk about YouTube and Instagram and Facebook as well, because they have different demographics.
Okay, I guess I'll go first. So I really do think that it's good to utilize every platform that you have, just because you have different audiences. So the people that I engage with on Twitter are looking for something different than the people I engage with on Instagram. So with Instagram, it is very much a visual platform. With, say, Twitter or Facebook, it's more so conversational, and it's usually just my thoughts on reality TV. No, I'm kidding. Kind of. I do that a lot. But people are looking for different things from different platforms. So I think it is a good idea to utilize every platform, but know what your specific audience is looking for in each platform to get the most out of engagement.
Okay, and I guess my answer is going to be a little bit different. So I want you to go on as many platforms as you can do really well, right? Because there's nothing worse than, like, if you're already having a hard time keeping up with content on 2 platforms, adding a third just seems silly. And there's also some, negative things about posting the same content to both platforms, where I actually encourage it, because I think that there's no guarantee that someone who's following you on Instagram and Facebook, the way the algorithm works, that they're going to see your content on both, right? Unless they're like your avid follower and the algorithm wants to show it to both of them. But for the most part, I don't think you should have any fear about creating one piece of content and sharing it to multiple places, hoping that it reaches like the most, as much of your audience as it can.
We do have an extended question from that first comment. So based on a personal perspective, what content do you wish was out there on any of these platforms that would be valuable to you that you don't see or don't see a lot of?
That's hard. So I take one client per industry, right? So the types of content that I'm going to create for those people is really going to be different for each one. So I think the types of content that we'd like to see really depends on the business. Does that make sense?
I think if you're recognizing those gaps within the content creation, that's where you can kind of go in and fill those gaps. So I feel like that's a really good thing if you are recognizing it, because you are doing your market research of what your audience is looking for. So that's your cue to start creating that content if you're not finding it online.
Is this the same guy, Jonathan? Is this your question? Did you? Okay. All right. What I think right now, what I'm noticing on TikTok specifically is there's not enough, how can I say it? Because YouTube has a lot of it. The rain kind of rain content, just silent videos, or even affirmation videos. So something more positive. But again, TikTok is an entertainment platform, right? Like, it's supposed to be entertaining. But I have seen certain ones that are like encouraging entrepreneurship, things like that. I think a lot of more empowering content is lacking in terms of, sorry, what's that, Taylor?
Oh no, I'm gonna go again after you're done.
Okay. Yeah, so empowering, I would say empowering content would be what's lacking in TikTok from my experience.
And I wanted to add to my answer. So it's not necessarily content, right? But we're creating content. I have a whole presentation on this, on like marketing to the margins and like including them. So we're always creating content in like the way we want to receive it, but thinking about, you know, people who might not be able to see that well or might not be able to hear that well. So creating inclusive marketing, right? So adding alt text to our images, adding closed captioning. You know, if we're going to create a graphic with words on it, making sure that we're also putting the words in the caption, because if I'm visually impaired, I can't read what's in the image. So my screen reader will read what's in the caption, but a lot of people don't think about that if that's not the way that you consume content. So I think it's less about what kind of content is missing, but making sure that we're including more people who are invited into our online space.
I have another point to that too, just on personal experience, where I'm the kind of person that if there's something going on in my life or something, I like to kind of Google it so that I can see blogs or other people talking about the same thing. And there have been a few instances where I've Googled this specific thing and I found nothing, and almost feel like, okay, am I alone in this? And then I decide to create the content that I was looking for. And then I have people reaching out to me like, thank you so much for talking about this. I don't see any of this online. And I've made connections with people in Australia even that have gone through similar situations I have, and just reach out periodically to talk about it, and we touch base. So yeah, I think doing that market research and kind of noticing those gaps. I don't know. We all had very different answers, but coming full circle.
I wanted to add something else just thought of. So what I find too with what content to put out there is based on like what comments are being made on your videos. So sometimes people will ask a question in the comments, and it's good to create content based on that question if it's a question that's getting asked a lot of times. So I think for me, that's a good way to fill the gap, so to speak.
Yeah, those are all great points. I think kind of the major takeaway is if you're finding a gap, that can be your place to fill it. So I want to jump to kind of a local-based question. So who are some of your favorite local brands from YQG? And they threw in some examples of Anchor Coffee Branding, Wolf and Rebel, being the queen of reels. So what brands do you feel do social media really well?
That's such a hard question. And I feel like within WindsorEssex, we have so many amazing entrepreneurs that are just killing it. So there's so many, the one that's coming top of mind, and not to be biased because she is a friend of mine, but Auntie Aldu's Bakery, her content is just so genuinely her. And it kind of goes across TikTok and Instagram, and she doesn't focus on aesthetics or anything, even though her photos are very aesthetically pleasing. She just focuses on showing up authentically as herself. So I'm going to give her a shout out as my favorite right now.
Okay, so you kind of stole one of mine. I was going to say Wolf and Rebel just because I think she does a great job on Reels. She's absolutely killing it. They're really funny. So if you're scared to make Reels or make funny ones, go watch hers and you'll get a little bit of inspo. But also, so Ordaliza is also doing a great job on social media. Their imaging is really good. They're getting into Reels. You know, they're really focused on their pillars. So I think those would be my two.
For me, it's not someone from TikTok, because frankly, there's not enough people from Windsor on TikTok. It breaks my heart because I have to reach out further to get my community going. But on Instagram, I like this baker, Celle Sweet, and she's really good because she puts out like pictures, reels, if you can see, and she's local. I can't really show my screen, but yeah, because she puts out a lot of really interesting videos right now. And like Taylor said, Instagram is becoming a not photo sharing app. So video is the way to go. And she's done really well for herself. So
those are all great answers. And I think we had some of those companies on here as well, or the supporters in here in the chat too. So we have time for just one more question. How much time would you say that you spend engaging with other accounts on social media per day?
I'm gonna go first because I spend a whole lot of time. but it's also because I need ideas for my videos. About 2 to 3 hours, I would say. It's probably unhealthy, but I really enjoy it.
So I spend my entire day on social media, but engaging as far as my business, I should be doing more, but things are busy. But I do try to aim for the 20 minutes a day. I will caution you that if you are on Instagram really trying to grow your account and dedicating some time to engagement, sometimes if you engage too quickly, Instagram will think you're a robot and block your account for a while. So just be cautious of trying not to do more than 20 minutes a day or going kind of slowly, so Instagram doesn't mistake you for a robot, because it kind of sucks when you get locked out for a little bit.
I definitely engage more as the days that I post content, and I'm just kind of giving that 20 minutes afterwards. Or with YouTube, this comments kind of slowly trickle in over the days, so I just try to set some time aside to respond to them. With Instagram, they come in a little bit quicker, but yeah, like Taylor said, I try not to respond too quick because I'm not a robot. So yeah, I am on social media all day, every day, so that's such a hard question to answer. I need to take a little bit of a social media detox, but it's so hard when you work in social media. Yeah, but just kind of being conscious and aware that, okay, like 20 minutes after dinner or something, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to respond to comments, and then I'm just going to put my phone away and trying to find that balance.
Perfect. So we're actually just going to do one last quick question. If we didn't get to your question, feel free to reach out to any of our panelists. We shared all of their handles, emails, things. I believe a lot of it's in the chat as well. Just reach out to them. But I'm just going to take one last question. Any tips or opinions about using Twitter?
I would rather die. I feel like that platform asks for a lot of your attention, because the updates come so quickly that even if you've done a post, if it doesn't catch on right away, like you literally have to live on Twitter, where at least with the other platforms, you can kind of post and they kind of do their own thing. But I feel like Twitter needs a lot more massaging. So it depends on how much time you want to invest, but maybe instead of doing 1, 2, or 3 platforms of the other ones, you only do one Twitter, because you got to live on there.
Yeah, I saw this meme that was like comparing social media platforms to groups of people. And the one for Twitter was just a bunch of people standing in a room yelling at each other, because that's what I feel like Twitter is. It's just, it's very oversaturated and not very conversational, I find. But yeah, I don't go on it as often personally.
I gave up on Twitter years ago, but because I'm interested in the NFT space, Twitter is for some reason the platform they use. So I kind of browse Twitter on my own, but not make content on Twitter, because like Leanne said, it's just a bunch of people talking and a lot of text. So I'm also a very visual person and auditory. So it's just, someone in the chat even said, I'm so old, I love Twitter. John, I don't think necessarily it's an age thing now. It's more of your industry. And like I said, the NFT, cryptocurrency space, they thrive on Twitter for some reason. I don't get it, but I'm more a visual person anyway, so it's not my platform.
Okay, so anyone interested in Twitter, you heard it first. Enter at your own risk. Okay, so thank you so much, Taylor, Leanne, and Mara, for hosting this workshop for us. On behalf of Founder Week YQG, we can't wait to celebrate your continued growth and success. We have a quick survey for all of our attendees. I'm just going to throw it in the chat for everyone. So please click on the link in the chat box to provide feedback for this session. This will enter you for a session giveaway to win $50 Windsor card. The more sessions you provide feedback for, the more entries you have in the final draw. Please don't forget to check out our schedule for upcoming events. Next up, we have Fireside Chat with founders Derek Anderson of Ignite Health and Jordan Scott of Estate Health at 12 p.m. as of right now. Also, we just want to ensure you don't miss our Founders Week YQG Town Hall and Failure Night. Make sure you add them to your schedule so you don't miss out. In case you missed it, Founders Week is offering a week of perks while quantities last, so please check out the Fun and Freebies tab to learn more. Thank you all for attending today and have a great afternoon.